Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, due to unforeseen circumstances, we'll be swearing in our newly elected mayor, and this is not usually the way we do it. Formally, you'll be sworn in this evening, and on Thursday, we will proceed with the installation ceremony. First, we have the newly elected Mayor Michael W. Davey. Please raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States, the state of Florida and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of mayor, which I am now about to enter. So help me God. Thank you. Newly elected Councilmember Luis Laredo and Councilmember Ignacio J. Sigorola, if you can please raise your right hand. First, we'll start with Luis. I state your name.
I, Luis Laredo.
And next, I state your name.
I, Ignacio Sigorola.
And you can repeat after me both at the same time. Do solemnly swear and affirm.
Do you want us
both at the same time that way? Please.
Let's start all over again. Make sure this is legal. Keep it simple, okay? Let's go.
I state your name.
I, Luis Laredo.
I. Now repeat after me both at the same time. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
And affirm that I.
And affirm that I.
Will support, protect.
Will support, protect.
And defend the Constitution and government of the United States.
Defend and protect the Constitution and government of the United States.
The state of Florida and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne.
The state of Florida and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
Under the Constitution of the state and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne.
Under the Constitution of the state and the charter of the Village of Key Biscayne.
And that I will well and faithfully perform.
And that I will well and faithfully perform.
The duties of council member.
The duties of council member.
Upon which I am now about to enter.
Upon which I am about now to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Yes, now we can proceed to the meeting. Thank you.
Thursday morning. Counselor, I don't know. Yeah. Not exactly.
Ready? All right.
One second. Let me. Good evening again. The mayor has called this special council meeting to order. Councilmember Luis Laredo.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Edward London. Councilmember Ignacio Sigorola.
Present.
Councilmember McCormick.
Here.
Councilmember Moss.
Here.
Councilmember Petros.
Here.
Mayor Mike Davey.
Here.
We do have a quorum, Mayor. If we may please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lead off. Go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Discussion on Ultra Music Festival at Virginia Key.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. We're all well aware of what's going on. I'd ask the manager to give us an update. Let us know how this village has been progressing, and then we can have our conversation.
Good evening and congratulations
Thank
to the
you.
new members. So the village became aware of the Ultra Music Festival possibly moving to Virginia Key from a Miami Herald article that was printed on November 2nd, 2018. Given the history of events being held on Virginia Key and the recent lawsuits and settlements, we were caught off guard. We reached out to the county, and the county was also unaware, including their police department and the Causeway Division, who is responsible for the engineering design and the enforcement of the traffic patterns with regard to the causeway. The agreement is subject to City of Miami Commission approval and is tentatively scheduled for November 15th. The village called for a special call meeting on Monday, November 5th, to discuss the issue. In preparation, on Saturday, November 3rd, the weekend before the special call meeting, staff had a conference call where we set our goal to gather accurate facts and to gain an understanding of what plans were in place with regard to traffic mitigation and public safety so that we could provide the council with information so that you could make informed decisions on the issue. I circulated some preliminary questions that we were trying to get answers on, including what applications have been submitted to the City of Miami, are there any approved site plans, have any special event permits been issued? We wanted to know what the security plan would be. We wanted to know how many guests are expected, what the parking plan is. We also wanted to know how the noise would be mitigated and what impacts we might expect to our first responders. These are examples of the mitigative strategies we've been pursuing since we became aware of the issue. In addition to the mitigative strategies, simultaneously, the council directed the village attorney to prepare a resolution in opposition to the event and for letters to be sent to the City of Miami, Miami-Dade County, and Ultra. Those letters were prepared and remitted to the respective parties over this past weekend. At that November 5th meeting, the council also directed staff to engage a communications firm to strategically handle public relations with regard to the issue. And we went through a competitive process and awarded a contract to M Network on Thursday, November 8th. In order to handle the incident most effectively, we activated the incident command structure, where up through Friday, I served as the incident commander. On Friday, I was in Tallahassee on a pre-scheduled trip with regard to beach funding, and at that time, I appointed Chief Lang to be incident commander with regard to the communication strategy. The mission objectives were to protect the community's well-being, life safety, and our environment, and prevent the agreement between the City of Miami and Ultra from being ratified on November 15th, or at least deferred until all the stakeholders that are interested could have a proper seat at the table. The PR firm, in collaboration with the mayors, both outgoing and incoming, and staff and other stakeholders, began to mobilize and unite in support of our mission. Public records were requested through legal as well as on the departmental level. To date, to my knowledge, we have not received the records that we have requested. We launched a website to share information and provide a space for the impacted stakeholder groups to communicate with the village. We staged a booth at the Lighthouse Run event on Saturday, as well as at the Veterans Ceremony, again, to gain support and understand where our community is coming from and where other stakeholders are interested in our same position. We recorded and circulated podcast and video content that has had a reach of over 70,000, and we've identified and have been collaborating with dozens of stakeholders, including environmental groups, homeowners associations, and condo associations throughout Greater Miami, academic institutions, PTAs, water sports groups, marinas, chambers of commerce, and the Village Foundation. We've engaged the county and the state to try to gain a better understanding of what the impacts could be with regard to the state park at the end of our island, and what the community could tolerate at large with regard to the number of people that might be coming with this event. With all that said and done, I would like to recognize that there are difficult decisions to be made by this council as well as the neighbors over the causeway. And as manager, I appreciate the careful consideration all of the elected officials have demonstrated in dealing with this issue. I'd like the community to know that as fiercely as we are approaching this issue, your elected officials recognize the delicate balance between the costs and the benefits of short-term wins, as well as the importance of being good neighbors and the long-term resilience of our community. With that, Mayor, I can take any questions, or you can have the floor for discussion.
Well, what I'd like to do is, do you have a question first?
No, I just wanted to say something.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind everybody, even though I know that we're going to be doing public comments, is that I think we should have a discussion to clarify our position, but we should be very careful not to talk too much about possible legal strategies that we might get into, and I think we should be very careful in what we say up here and during our discussion.
I think that's a fair point. What I would like to do, if anybody doesn't have an objection, I'd like to open it to public comments. We didn't have it listed. Does anybody want to speak? Okay, that's easy. Look, this is not an easy subject. This is we're right into the fire, folks. So let's get going. This is concerning. You know, Ultra coming and bringing what it brings, and I know that I appreciate the efforts the manager and our staff have taken to roust people up and get us moving in the right direction. I help with the podcast, but that was really the PR people that did the work. I just read the words. You know, we've got good people working on this, but we need the community to be behind us. It's not going to be us. It's going to be the stakeholders. It's reaching out to your friends across the bridge and letting them know what's going on. I've spoken to people in the roads. I've spoken to people in Brickell who weren't really aware that it was moving over here to Virginia Key, but they were pretty adamant about their opposition to it while it was on Bayfront Park. And I think that's what we really have to think about is the city of Miami essentially evicted them from one of their parks. And now all of a sudden they're saying, well, it may be okay to have it at a different park simply because they don't have any nearby neighbors complaining about it. But this really may pose significant environmental hazards. It's certainly, I've spoken to fire personnel and they're concerned about not response time, transport times. There are real issues for our community, but the greater Miami community. And I want us to be using our efforts to be reaching out to our contacts up here. I mean, we all have developed contacts throughout Miami, and I think we should be doing the same, getting people involved, letting them know what's going on, and telling them why we're concerned about it. It's not that we are, what do they call us in the Herald, the posh island of Key Biscayne. We're not just a posh island of whiners. We're people who have legitimate concerns, and we'd like to have them addressed by the city of Miami. We're not trying to be contentious about this. We want to resolve it. At the end of the day, though, we have to do what's right for our residents, our citizens. Anybody? Katie?
No, I agree with what you're saying. I would like to find out if there's a consensus on how we should approach the meeting that's happening on Thursday. I didn't know if the public relations firm is here. Is there a representative that can speak to that for us, both the community and the council?
Right.
Yeah, well, you can too. If they've spoken to you about that, or we can have this discussion, but we need to come up with a plan of action for Thursday's meeting.
I agree. I mean, I'm going to go in and pretty much say what I've just said, that this is, I'll say pretty much what I said on the podcast. I mean, it's real. This event bringing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to Virginia Key, it's going to be potentially damaging, significantly damaging to the environment of that key. That's a very sensitive area. We all know that the environment has to be protected. They're talking about it as if this beach, I mean, we've all seen what happens on beaches on Key Biscayne in just a regular weekend. Imagine party goers who are just essentially letting loose on our waterway. I mean, forget about the noise, but the environmental impact, the danger to our residents, again, in transports, the potential for, and I know they've responded with, well, we're reducing the drug and alcohol-fueled violence, but then why is it leaving Bayfront Park? That's a real concern, and that's what I want to address. I've reached out to the mayor of the city of Miami. I'm going to sit down with him tomorrow. I'll be sitting down with our commissioner Suarez. I've reached out to other commissioners. I'm trying to have meetings. I understand other people up here are trying to have meetings as well, and I think that's good. I think we need more dialogue. I think one of the problems we have had for a long time, and this goes back to when I was on council last time, is we don't engage enough with the people in the city of Miami or in the county level. You know, we sort of sit out here until we have a problem, and that's unfortunate, because the best way to diffuse issues and to reduce conflict is to have a relationship. So you can pick up the phone and talk to somebody and say, hey, what the heck's going on over there? What are you guys thinking? Let's sit down and talk this out, because we get left in the dark on a lot of issues. This is not the first time. You know, we had the port, when they drilled the tunnel, when they did the dredging, when they did the when the Marine Stadium, the boat show came up. It's always, we're an afterthought. I think that's the frustration that comes out. But at the same time, I think it's on us to a certain degree to go out and develop those relationships with these people, because it's important long-term for this community. Luis?
Mr. Mayor, I think it's incumbent upon us to take a little pause, keep calm, and before we carry on. And I want to start by telling the people here and the people listening how honored I am to have been elected, and also how honored I am to be part of you and Ignacio, and unfortunately Ed London, for personal reasons, could not be here. And also to call attention to the fact that I'm encouraged by the quickness of the response. It is an extraordinary demonstration of community, how the outgoing council took an initiative, and of course, usually people criticize everything we do. That was a catalyst to sending out a message, even while we had this difficult legal transition period, and that produced correct results. I want to congratulate you for your leadership in the interim prior to today. I think I have, some of you who haven't seen the video, you will see that the mayor has a career in Hollywood. His voice is very penetrating and very effective. And while some may say have issues with the video, I can tell you that I'm from the school that perfection is the enemy of action and results. And so you got it out there, Madam Manager. It had the effect. The hits have been formidable. We can accommodate, we can make it better, we can make our strategy after we had a meeting, but you really need to be commended. And you, Madam Manager, and the outgoing council, which hopefully on Thursday we'll have an opportunity to recognize more for the initiative and that you did that brought us to today. Today is a day of action, you know, and I think my first thanks, by the way, should be to the Miami Herald. You know, this is a very difficult time in our country, and the press is under considerable attack. If we hadn't been for the Miami Herald, we wouldn't have heard about it.
That's right.
So, I mean, we need to make sure that we stand by a free press in this country. Still one of the pillars of why we've been 245 years of stable and progressive democracy in this country. In any event, having said that, Mayor, I think that you've set the spirit, you know, of what you're going to take the lead. Is we have got to work a strategy, and we discussed this, by which we can be effective, we can be inclusive, we can begin parallel to start eroding the bad image that we allowed others to create for us. One of the worst things in life is to have other people define you. We are not a bunch of spoiled people. We're not a bunch of rich people. Certainly I'm not. We're a bunch of hardworking, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, young couples, retired people who work their life, pay their taxes, and we have a lot more in common with the people in the roads, in Coconut Grove, in Brickell, than people give us responsibility. And so this, I believe God always gives an opportunity to, out of a bad situation, also try to get results and also begin to build the fact that we are good neighbors. Great. And we're actually doing it. We're actually doing it for them, too.
That's right. That's right.
Because they suffered for 4 or 5 years, and they suffered. So as we go along, I just want to now, having said that, I want to get to the business at hand. Is where is the resolution that was passed by the last council? I don't have a resolution.
We can circulate it. The resolution was provided as an attachment to the letters that went out.
Okay.
And did we have any responses to any of those letters?
I have not received any responses.
When did it go out? I think it went out
Saturday.
Saturday. So yeah, this is the first day of business back for the city.
Oh, that's true.
Brett, and
Yeah,
then
no.
Katie.
No, I think that this meeting for me is the ensure that our message, that we're all on the same page, and that our message is we're united on what our message is going down to the commission on Thursday morning. I mean, for me, the last meeting that we had, it was very clear to me where the people stand, and that we are very much opposed to this. But we need to make sure when we go down there that it's extremely clear to all of us on how we want to approach this first level. And then after what happens on Thursday, we can decide the next step that we want to take. I think it's becoming clear after listening to our mayor and council member Laredo just speak. I think it's very clear. It's becoming very clear on where we're moving forward on. But one thing I wanted to clarify is that, to me, this is not just about the Ultra. It really isn't. I mean, this is one event, but you know, if we look 20 years out, this is a major problem. And it's more than just one event. It's more than just Ultra. So we need to be very strong on our stance that this is not just, a 3-day temporary event. It's really not. And we need to be very careful and stand together on why this is so important at this point to really push forward about this particular event and the effects that it's going to have in the future for all of us.
Okay. Katie?
Just a couple of housekeeping things. Andrea, if you could speak to the coordination of a bus. Are we having a bus leaving, and when it's leaving, and then when it's coming back for residents?
Yes, we did make arrangements for a bus. It's leaving at 8:15 from the community center. I understand we did circulate a sign up. I think only 5 individuals signed up, but if anybody's interested, we're going to bus anybody who's interested over. If you want to meet at the community center at 8:15, and then the bus will return immediately after public comments.
And if you have an intention of going on the bus, please sign up, because I would hate to have a bunch of people show up and us not have room to take you over. We'll make every accommodation we can to get everybody over there. But
Thursday,
at
November
8:15.
15th.
9 in the morning.
Yeah, but
The bus leaves at 8:15.
Right. Okay, did you have more or no? Ignacio.
In addition to what everyone said here today, I fully agree. After spending several days thinking about what exactly it is what we're involved in, I've come up with 4 points of concern for myself. First and foremost, I completely agree that the key to facing this situation is to create a coalition of everyone that's affected. It is not just us, Key Biscayne. It's everyone at the entrance, all the neighborhoods, the roads, Brickell, Coconut Grove, Mercy Hospital, Seaquarium. I can't imagine they're going to get a whole lot of business that weekend. Mast Academy, that's going to be sandwiched between the 2 locations. They're environmentalists, if you care at all about the environment. There is a huge group or many groups that are affected by this, and we should all present our concerns together at the City of Miami on Thursday morning. Point number 2, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but thinking about this, Bayfront Park, where Ultra has been, is 32 acres. Virginia Key, I looked it up, Virginia Key alone is 82 acres, and that doesn't count the Marine Stadium. The point of that is that over the past few years, the ticket sales for Ultra have been 165,000, and that is what we're talking, or what's been assumed is coming to Virginia Key. Unfortunately, given the fact that we're with a location that's 3 to 4 times the size of where it was, I don't think we're going to stay at 165,000. I don't think that's the plan. I think it's more realistic to think it's going to be 200 to 250,000 easy, and that is a big problem that I think that we have to bring before the City of Miami. Point number 3, the public records request that we've made. I agree that we have to have a running dialogue with the city and the county. We have not done historically, I guess, a good job of that. We have 5 months before Ultra happens. We have to engage the city at every step of the way to find out what's going on. But at the same time, I'm very curious to see what the responses are going to be to those public records returns requests that we sent, because I just don't understand how an event the magnitude of Ultra was planned and a license agreement, as it's called, is going to be presented before the city of Miami on Thursday without there being any public meetings or any public notice before that. I just don't understand how all the commissioners and everyone could be on the same page and no one's ever talked about it publicly. I am very curious to see how that happened. Number 4, the final contention, the final point, and I agree completely with Brett, this is not just about Ultra. This is about Virginia Key in general and the future that's coming, whether we like it or not. I think after Hurricane Andrew, Key Biscayne got used to Virginia Key just being ignored and abandoned and, hey, never had a problem. But we're entering a future where the city and whoever else is going to try to monetize it. It's a very attractive property, and they want to do things with it. The key to Key Biscayne, in my opinion, is the MOT, the Maintenance of Traffic Plan. That is what's going to affect us directly. That is what either will let us stay here or will force everyone to leave whenever there is any event on Virginia Key. And for me, over the next few months, one of my points will be to engage the city of Miami to make sure we have as loud a voice as possible in the forming and the approval of that MOT. And those are my concerns.
Okay. Allison?
I had a question for our attorneys, but before I get into that, I just want to respond. Ignacio, you said you feel like we haven't done a great job with this dialogue. I just want to clarify that it's been very one-sided, or it didn't feel that way, but then we went with our settlement agreement and realized it was. And I agree with you, it seems quite suspicious that in the same exact time frame, all of a sudden, this big deal is cooked up. But certainly we have tried to negotiate, to say, could we have a seat at the table? Can we be a part of the MOT? And when things like this happen, we're then forced to act, while we still would like to try to be good neighbors, we are put in a position where we have to stand up for ourselves ultimately. And I feel like that is where we are now. And I think it's important, when Katie, you asked about our message on Thursday. I think for me, I would like for our message to be firm, but also reasonable, right? We all live in this area, and if we're asking other people to be good neighbors, we need to be good neighbors as well. I think it is absolutely okay to say we don't want this, and neither do the people in our surrounding area. But I also think we need to be speaking with a voice for ourselves and for the surrounding area, saying what we think Virginia Key should be and what are the thoughts that they have. You know, we saw these amazing flex park plans, and what is it that they want to do, and to encourage the city to be thinking in a broader scheme, right? We came off an election where we were thinking about our holistic planning and our master planning, and these short-sighted decisions that could potentially have big impacts on the environment are not good for anyone, certainly not the residents of the city of Miami. But my question that I had was to our attorneys, how long do they have to respond to our public records request?
The answer is that depending on the scope of it, the courts as well as the Attorney General has allowed anywhere between days and weeks to allow for the return of public records. The request asked for the records within 10 days because of what we thought the scope of those records might be. We thought that was a reasonable time.
When did the FOIA go out?
Thursday or Friday.
Friday, I think it was.
All right, so the reality is we couldn't expect them back before their meeting anyway. It doesn't just.
No.
Okay. Luis, another? Yeah, this is conversation.
Thank you, Councilor. As we enter a new stage of fiscal efficiency, I'm glad to see that we get 2 attorneys for the price of 1.
You have important issues.
I mean, I hope we get charged. Allison's comments lead me to repeat what I tried to say during our wonderful campaign. The 5 candidates. I see another one in the audience, Jeffrey, who ran a very good campaign with his family. that today is a good beginning, Mayor, to begin the new methodology. When we talk about doing things different, we're not blaming anybody else. We're deeply thankful for all the jobs that all the predecessors in 27 years, including the 5 founding members. I see one of them here, Betty Sim. And so if we can just get on, thank you, Betty, for all your service. So when we say that we can do something different, it's not blaming anybody who didn't in the past. It's just a check on reality. And like I said before, this is a chance for a reconciliation and an intensifying of the work you've done and all of that stuff. This discussion, I think, if it's to be effective, it needs to be divided in 2 things. And they cannot be confused, or we're going to lose it off the start. And I think I alluded to that the day before I got elected. One is November the 8th, and a resolution, which I have unfortunately been traveling, not only the resolution, but a resolution, a steadfast definition that we oppose this, period. And then parallel and hopefully below radar, the mitigating actions that the manager and the staff is doing. That has to do in the eventuality that this doesn't succeed. But if we mix these 2 messages, we're sending a message of defeat. And so I think today's mandate is to prepare us a resolution as a body representing the people of Key Biscayne for your presentation. On Thursday, we'll be there supporting you, and it is nice, with a lot of respect for their fellow elected officials. They represent their people, but firm.
Right.
And not to get distracted into traffic discussion and mitigating because of this and the other, because if we lose the vote on Thursday, I'm not giving up. So, I mean, a lot of people talking about, well, we got to, I'm not giving up. It ain't over until the fat lady sings. So I just want to make sure that you, as our leader, are prepared to be. Okay.
It's not. Look, we're willing to talk to them, but at the end of the day, we don't want this. We don't want Ultra on Virginia Key. I think that's been the message straight through. There's no confusion there. I think we're all in agreement that we do not want Ultra on Virginia Key. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
But I have a question, piggybacking off of what you talked about. It sounds like, and we need to clarify this, are we going there on Thursday and each one of us getting up and speaking as individual council members, or are we going to have a group
That's my question
message?
to the group. How do you want to do this? I mean, I'm going to speak.
I think the more people that speak, the better.
Right. I think that's right.
So I think each one of us should prepare a speech and be prepared to speak. And
that's right.
Also, there's going to be public comments at the beginning, but then there should be probably before this issue is heard as well. So how are we going to try to manage that? Because we don't know when in the day that would happen.
That's tougher.
I've asked, forgive me for interrupting, Mayor. I've asked the village attorney to give me a sense of what time the issue may come up in the afternoon. As I talked the day before the election, if you're not there at the vote, out of sight, out of mind. Forget about what you said at 9 o'clock in the morning. They structure it that way, so you leave and they vote when you're not there. I will be there all day if I have to, including missing the 7 o'clock meeting. And I think we need to. But I don't know if the village manager has a sense of when the item.
It's public hearing 4, right?
Yeah, there's no time certainty. Perhaps, some courtesies might be offered. I think in the morning, public comments we expect to usually wrap up by 10:15, maybe 11. And then I would, maybe 1, 2 things might, but there's really no guarantees.
And if we speak in the morning, can we speak again right before the issue? We can speak both times.
Right, so they open, it is a public hearing, so there'll be an opportunity to speak before the actual item. And I did get a communication from our PR firm, and the plan was to work with each of you over the next couple of days individually to help coach you on what communication sort of resonates most with you as individuals, and that aligns with the village's position that we are entirely opposition of this agreement passing.
Okay. I think I don't know what kind of courtesy we're going to get from the city of Miami in terms of getting it moved forward. but I think I'll be having a conversation with the mayor tomorrow, and I'll certainly bring it up. But I agree with you. I think we do have to be there. I think we need to be tough on them and make them understand that we're not just throwing words at them, that we're willing to stick it out.
I know you're getting professional advice, but knowing the city of Miami well, and the village attorney knows that even better, we better keep our message, keep it simple, stupid,
Right.
and in plain English. And, brevity is a virtue sometimes. And so that's why I'm trying to say, I know that we're gonna be trained or whatever, but if everything is important, nothing is important. So
Look, yeah,
I think it's gonna have to, it's a really, unfortunately come at you the first day, and you lost your beautiful voice. This is ridiculous.
I'll be all right by Thursday.
That's the city of Miami working.
No, and I agree with you. I think what we need to do is we all have to speak with our own voices. I think it's not the PR people who are going to set this. The reason we're up here is because we all have a passion for Key Biscayne. And we're all going to take that to City Hall in Miami, and we're going to express it. I think it can help if the PR team is able to give us little points to sort of base if we so desire. Certainly anybody who wants to speak in your own voice, take your own words. I will listen to what they have to say, but at the end of the day, it's going to be me at that podium making my statement to the city of Miami on what I feel, why I'm in opposition to the event.
Just practical question. Is there any time limit to public comments at the city of Miami?
I think it's 2 minutes.
Yes, they typically limit you to 2, maybe 3 minutes.
But I mean the whole public comment block. Because
No.
Do that.
So if 100 people from Key Biscayne show up and 100 more from other places and 200 people want to talk, they're going to allow that?
They must.
Good to know.
Just so you have a sense, this is usually impossible to guess, okay? So I'm giving you my best assessment of how this will go forward. There are a few public comment issues, proclamations, preliminary things. Then there's a consent agenda,
Right.
which typically goes relatively fast. And then there are public hearing items. This item is set as the 4th public hearing item.
Right.
If things go relatively smoothly, it's likely that this could be heard in the mid to late morning. But I can tell you that doesn't mean that the chairman may not take 3 or 4 items ahead of it for whatever reason, because one council member asked them to please take it out of order. So it's very hard to judge. But if things go relatively in order, in accordance with their agenda, it may well be heard in the mid to late morning.
Okay. What else? All right, so we're all, who plans on being there from this council? Good. I think I would encourage everybody to be there. Okay, this is where it starts. This is where we've got to come together as a community and show them we're united. We're opposed to this event. We're going to do everything and anything we can to stop it. We'd like to do it. We'd like to do it on Thursday. So I don't think we don't need to take any action on this item, obviously, but we'll see you all Thursday morning.
I've seen circulated in some WhatsApp chats some things from different environmental organizations with information and sample letters people could send. Is there any way we could put some of that information on the website for residents who maybe aren't in the same WhatsApp chats as me?
Yeah, absolutely. If everybody, whatever material's out there, you can send it to me and or Jenny, and we'll post it. Yes.
Great, because I think it's important to have the different perspectives.
Yes.
Okay.
There's someone with a comment.
Jeffrey, we did, but come on up.
And there's somebody here.
Just in case anyone else. Just hearing it. Thank you all. Jeffrey Gonzalez I appreciate that we're here and we're all moving towards the right path.
Jeffrey, I apologize. Address, please.
575 Crandon Boulevard. And so and this is a humble prediction, but it might just fall on deaf ears if we're there and there are really only 20, 30, 40 people there. So my question here for council is is there any way is there a plan in place to motivate more people on the island to actually move forward? And I know there's a bus in place, I know there's an opportunity, but is there any other PR? Is it on the website? Is it on the Islander News? Is there any way to get the message out, to have not just the people that might be here interested, but other folks interested? Because in numbers, things might listened to and more.
Went out through all the right?
Right. So thank you. There have been several dozen organizations that we've contacted, and through our communications, they've forwarded on the information that we've been providing to their respective networks.
Okay.
So there are, everybody from, different neighborhood associations, NOAA, Miami Waterkeepers, different homeowners associations in the roads, in Brickell, Tropical Otterbond, Sierra Club, Four Oceans. So each respective organization is expected to come forward as the subject matter expert to be able to share data with regard to whatever particular expertise they have with regard to the environmental, and then with the homeowners associations and the condo associations, whatever their particular experience would be.
Okay.
So we've been trying to rally, and the last data point that I was given was that 70,000, our reach was 70,000.
70,000 people. Is there any type of petition or anything where you're getting RSVPs or anything along those lines?
The communications company set up a website, noultra.com.
Okay.
And on that website, you can provide your information and be in touch with us.
Okay. So, and I'm fairly digitally savvy, and I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
So that's and I'm interested, and I'm involved, and I'm here. So all I'm getting at is, I wonder if there's something, maybe we can get together tomorrow or figure out if there's something else.
What are you talking about? I guess that's the.
What do you recommend?
What's that?
Could that be it?
We're being optimized out.
You think that's what they're doing? They're doing this? Yes.
So is there a way to have, and curious, is there a way to have people, and I don't know how to start a movement. I don't know this, but is it possible to be in front of Winn-Dixie or in front of the entrance, how, a lot of you stood in front of the island during campaigning. Is there anything along those lines that we can think out of the box to try to get more people to recognize that there's something really big happening? So it's a question out there.
Yeah, no, I don't know if anything's been done on that front. That's a fair question. I think the SEO, the SEO, the optimization is troubling, and I am certainly not tech IT savvy. So we need to figure out how we can counter that.
Would anybody be opposed to standing? I'll finally do it. I'll stand in front. So tomorrow, just to alert people to go to the website, Stop Ultra or whatever.
No Ultra.
No Ultra.
NoUltra.com.
So maybe we can figure something.
If you can get a group together to get out there, that would be great. That would be very helpful. It's
maybe back to the entry block.
Exactly, back to the entry block morning.
Good. Let them know.
Okay.
Because I think the other message, though, is also anyone who has friends outside of this community that may be opposed, that they need to spread the message to the other communities, too, because we want to make sure that there's a balance from all these places.
Fair enough. I agree. Absolutely.
So let's do that, too.
That's a good thing.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes, sir.
Our Mass PTSA president.
Yes, I'm sorry. I came here just to listen to see what
your name?
My name's Julio de Armas, Mass Academy PTSA president.
Thank you.
I just came here to see what your plan was on it. I'm still planning to go over there, and I deeply oppose that too. I don't understand how they could allow something like that. That's going to, no matter what they tell you, you know it's going to be drugs right next to a school. My daughter goes to that school. So obviously we're going to be jamming between two major parties. We don't understand how they even allowed that to happen. That's one. The other thing, we have made that school a green apple by making it very environmentally. Our kids have cleaned that basin not once, but many times. You have helped us out with money to help us replant mangroves. I'm not, and to be honest, in all honesty, I'm not a green person, but I understand what is good for the environment. So as a PTSA, we have helped it. So that will be it's like spitting in our face after we have spent all this time. They're just going to ruin that. And not to be honest, because I know, to be honest, we have not always seen on the same thing because obviously we do the boat show and we do parking. We will not allow any parking. We will not condone anything to do with that event. I just don't know how else to, work this out, but.
Get the word out. I'm sure you're pushing it out to your folks. The more people
I am.
you get,
As a matter of fact, I talked with the principal. He's an employee. He cannot do anything
Right.
about it because the school board belongs to, Dade County. So, they're handcuffs on that. But as a PTSA,
Right.
we are completely opposed to it. So just figure on those 2 points that, we have spent a lot of kids' hours on cleaning up that basin. Second of all, our kids' safety
That's right.
is going to be completely in gambles, no matter what they tell you, because we know exactly what happens in that event. So that was just my 2 cents.
well, thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Can I ask, I know that the Green Champions have been
Yes.
talking a lot about this. Has there been any thought to asking if a tardy could be excused for student members of the Green Champions to speak?
Don't know that. I will have to
Okay.
talk with my chair on
Maybe
that.
we could
And-
talk
Yes.
tomorrow and see if we can make that happen.
Not a problem. But you could count on my support on anything that you could. I deeply.
Okay. Anybody you can get there on Thursday, we'd appreciate it.
Well, wait. It's important what you're doing. I hope you're there on Thursday and you speak. Because to be honest with you, that's why it's wonderful to be in like that. You learn more from people and you think you know. I have completely forgotten MAST and our youth. You have got to focus on that message if you can speak on Thursday, because that is.
We barely, like you said, we barely have a fence between
No, it's
that
incredible.
and it. Our kids are in there, and we all know exactly what's happening in there.
Yeah. No, that's
So
right.
I don't understand how
I'm
they
just
could
asking you
condone
to
that.
please be there tomorrow at Thursday.
I will be
Write
there.
your little notes and stay focused on that because that will have an impact, I think.
I will be there, unfortunately, the second time I actually speak in public, and I hate it very much.
I know.
So,
You're doing a good job.
But if you say exactly what you said, that's it. That leaves a message.
Also, the knowledge that the setup for this, their response is that this is happening over spring break when school is not in session, but it's a 30-day setup as well.
It starts early.
Right.
And still, the devastation is going to be there. We know all the drugs are going to be left behind. They could tell you all the lies they want. The floor is going to be full of drugs, needles, use. You know what we know? It's going to be completely.
And vagrant people.
And God knows
sleeping
what we're going to find in there.
sleeping all over the things. This is something but you got to say it in that language.
It's exactly what I understood. I know that if you ever do drugs next to a school, it's like the worst thing you could do. They're actually planning a drug party right next to a school. I don't understand that.
That's all you have to say.
Say those words exactly.
Thank you very much. We'll look forward to
Thank
seeing
you
you
for
on
coming
Thursday.
tonight.
All right.
Wilson?
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilmen, and women. I'm Rosa de la Camara, 550 Ocean Drive. Just a couple of quick points. I don't think, and I think everybody should understand that by us, the village residents, saying we don't want this, we're not happy about this, it's simply not enough. I don't care about a village resolution. They're certainly not going to care about a village resolution. As I said last time we met here, we're not constituents. They're not going to vote to make us happy. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I know that we're kind of doing a consultant media blitz type thing. I also don't think that's going to carry a lot of weight unless we combine that with a two-prong approach, which has to be legal. When I spoke to the consultant, and pardon me, and he's been amazing. I mean, he's taken 5 of my phone calls over the last 2 days. I'm asking what legal steps are we taking, and there was some kind of disconnect between legal and media, so I'm not sure if the left and the right hand are working together. We have to do this together as a community, not separate. And finally, in terms of the legal aspect, I mean, has anyone reviewed this? Has anyone studied? There's 2 resolutions up on Thursday. The first one is to waive the competitive bid requirement, and that's just being rammed through by the city on a 4/5 commission approval. Has anyone looked to see if that's sufficient, if there's not a further vote needed? I honestly don't think that's enough. I don't think they can avoid the competitive bid requirement. Secondly, why are they doing a license and not a lease? Obviously, they're getting around some kind of legal technicality. Have we looked at this? This requires more than, glad handing and slapping each other on the back, with all due respect, because it's not against, it's all of us. We were caught sleeping at the wheel. This should have never happened, and shame on all of us as constituents for not knowing better that the city was going to pull this. But we can't just show up with our resolution and a lot of people, banging the pots and pans and being angry. We need to have a legal approach on this as well. And I'm wondering if the village attorney has called Vicky Mendez to ask for a time certain. I can't imagine she wouldn't extend that professional courtesy to you, Steve. So, I think we need to organize, and we need to approach this not only in a media blitz, but also legal. Thank you.
Just wait.
Vicky is wonderful, but she does not control that agenda. Commissioner Hardiman absolutely controls that agenda. She has nothing to do with it.
Have we asked?
I've been there more times than I can count.
Have we asked this time, Steve?
No, but I'm sure that she would. I'm sure she'll welcome an inquiry, but.
Okay.
The village direct him to do that?
Yeah, no, and at this point, we have got a problem in terms of our village attorney's ability to represent us in this matter. Our village attorney, as we recently learned, is conflicted out.
Mayor,
hold on. Just relax. Everybody just take a step back. So we're dealing with this, and it's a difficult position, okay? We've just gotten a new council up. We just got sworn in, so we're going to have to address this issue. This is an uncomfortable issue for a lot of people. I'm not pleased with it. We've been frustrated about it for a little while. Meaning, when they were, unfortunately, Weiss Serota was conflicted out of the Marine Stadium. So we haven't had anybody on oversight on that, and now we have this issue. So we've got to look into that. In listening to you today, Rosa, I think one of the issues, you're right, we do have to, we have to figure out what we're going to do as far as a legal strategy. There's no question. We have to be looking at this hard and figuring out what our next steps are in terms of, again, going after them on the. I saw it was a no bid. I read it yesterday. There's a lot of points I think we can be attacking. We as a council, and this is part of the conversation we're going to have at some point this evening. We're going to have to make a decision. We need to get somebody in here to to assist us with this, because we need legal representation. We can't do it. We're not that body. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to ask for, and I don't know what the procedure on this is. Actually, we can't take a vote because it hasn't been noticed, but we're going to have to set a special meeting. I was going to suggest next Tuesday if everybody's still around. I know the holiday is. You're not going to be around. When are you leaving?
Saturday.
Okay, that's can we do it Friday? Are people around Friday evening?
I think I get back Friday.
No, this Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It's Friday. I think we need to set up a meeting. We need counsel on this because I think that's an important point. We need somebody to. I can't call them. We're hamstrung, and we're up against the big dogs. So I think we need to do this. So if everybody's amenable, Luis, are you amenable to meeting on Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We can do it. How's 5 o'clock on Friday? Does that work for people?
5:30?
5. If you want to keep it at 6, I was just thinking.
6 is perfect. 5:30.
Okay. Let's do 5:30 if we can. If everybody's amenable, 5:30. Can you set that? Can you notice it, please? We'll have a meeting at 5:30, and the purpose is going to be to seek legal counsel for this issue because we need to have somebody have our backs. I couldn't discuss it with you because of sunshine laws prior to this, but I think it's important, and we need to get going on it. Luis.
I'm sorry I've jumped on you, but I said it the day before the election. I was echoing Commissioner Moss' earlier comments. If you could just, let's don't talk about this from the podium. We're telegraphing all of our strategy, live and in color, are in a legal process. I mean, and I understand and I take deep appreciation of what she's saying, and I got it. Like we say, I got it. But this is not the time, nor was it the last meeting, to start discussing. We have got to focus on Thursday morning.
I agree
9 o'clock, and our resolution, non-legal resolution. So there's a semantic confusion here, that we as a community are steadfast against it. It does not mean that we don't have a parallel, quietly, I said earlier, below radar about mitigating and legal procedure. But the more we talk about legal, and Brett Moss said it at the beginning, the worse we're going to be. So I beg my fellow councilmen to just say yay to meeting on Friday and move on to something else on the agenda.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's right. But I want to be clear. Look, this is not pushing for litigation. Nobody up here, I'm not pushing for it. At the same time, I want legal advice on the issues that are presented. There are procedural issues involved in this resolution that's going before the city of Miami that we don't have advice on. And we're hampered by that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I mean, with the respects to getting a time certain, can we reach out, either the mayor or our manager, reach out to the commissioner of the chair, Hardman, to see if he could put us on time certain, to see what they say? I mean, I think
sent him an email this morning. I called his office and they suggested I sent an email.
Okay.
I will follow up again in the morning, and I will continue to press, and I'll send an email asking for a time certain, and we'll keep pushing on it. But that we'll do everything we can do. But yeah, I think that's a fair question. Katie, did you want to say something? Okay.
I think you have somebody else.
Just saying, without telegraphing any legal moves, we can't ask anything more of Weiss Serota. They've done a great job up to this point, but we need a new attorney immediately. I agree with what Ms. De La Cámara said.
Sir.
Hi, I'm David Rocker, 791 Crandon Boulevard. First off, I agree we should be as aggressive as possible as you're represented legally. We're obviously going to be going there with whatever we have and telling them what they already know. We hate this, they know that. They want to go forward. The issue that I have is a question. I'm not legally knowledgeable about what we can do, but I think we're doing this kind of on a defensive basis. The question I have is, what can we do offensively? What can we do to go after things that are important to them, that we may have some leverage on? What are the ways that we can do to inflict hurt on them, which may make them pay more attention to us, rather than putting up a sign saying we don't like what you're doing, which they know? So it's really a question, because I do not know the answer personally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
I know what a lot of people in Key Biscayne who are here and who are watching us. I've said all along that this community has more capable, influential people per capita than anywhere that I know in the United States. And I mean influential outside of Key Biscayne. There are bank presidents, there are law firm managing partner, there are all kinds of professionals who work in the city of Miami, and also who are involved and contribute financially to a lot of campaigns on that side of the road. And so this is also a lesson for us in Key Biscayne to grow up and be active in a consistent way. And I think if somebody is hearing us, there are a lot of those people who can pick up phones in the next 36 hours or less that we have, that have influences and contacts with some of the commissioners, their campaign consultants, their campaign treasurers. That's an effective, simple way to do something between now and Thursday. After Thursday, we got to do other plans. But we have to have a short impact meeting on Thursday. And I agree with you, they know all of this stuff, but we have to go through the motions, sir. And perhaps you yourself, you sound like somebody who probably knows a lot of people on the other side of the bridge. This is how it works in politics. It's people and friends listen to each other. And that's what I would encourage you and others who may be listening to do.
And I think that's what we should be doing, frankly, is reaching out to people we know on this island who we believe to be influencers.
Nancy Ellisberg, 177 Ocean Lane Drive. On that note, if you could send out a notice with the names of the people and the emails or telephone numbers so that there can be a record to the commission
Oh, you mean the commissioners? Yeah, we sent that out.
commissioners.
We'll keep sending that out. That should have gone out, constant contact. Hold on.
I got it.
You sent me it. I got it. I saw it a few places, so nobody's receiving this?
As a matter of fact, it doesn't really matter if people got it. You need to keep sending it out.
Mayor, if I may,
That,
if you visit www.noultra.com, all that information is on.
then send out an email
Will
telling
do.
everybody to get into noultra.com
Will do.
for the names of people,
Can we get that sent
emails,
out
and
tonight?
telephone numbers so that people out here can
get you, Nancy. I
flood
understand.
them before the meeting on Thursday.
That's right. And we've been trying to do that, and I had, frankly, I guess maybe because I was involved in it, I was seeing these things and sending out my own emails. But absolutely, if people are, get the information, send notes, send letters. I don't know if it was Luis's point about having a form letter, or was it I don't know, somebody to my right.
Maybe it was Ed.
But let's get it. Let's put the pressure on them. Let them know that we're talking about this. Let them know, if you are a donor to a commissioner, a City of Miami or a Miami-Dade commissioner, let them know that we're not happy about this and that we're going to start speaking. And reach out to your friends across the bridge. Reach out to your friends in Brickell, the Rhodes, Bay Heights, Fisher Island. Reach out to those people and tell them they may not know that this is coming. And if it comes, it's going to detrimentally impact them as well. So we have to be united in this.
I think we should also reach out to the county and Xavier Suarez. I mean, I think a lot of people should be reaching out to him as our.
He's well aware.
Yeah, but a flood of emails coming in will
Agreed.
be a different effect of what the impact is.
Chairman Bovo and a number of Commissioner Higgins. There's a number of people we should be reaching out and letting them know that we're opposed to this and we need their support.
Okay, so can we decide who's going to create this list? Because those people are probably in addition to the commissioners. And then can we get that information to our residents on constant contact tomorrow morning?
Absolutely.
Can you make sure that
We have that list. It's
put it out in
listed on
constant
No
contact.
Ultra.
But put out.
is it just the commissioners or is it our, what is it?
It's just the commissioners, I believe.
City of Miami, put the Miami-Dade commissioners out there.
Yeah,
Put
the county commissioner should be on there too.
County commissioners should be on there as well. Let's keep them apprised. Look, any pressure we can bring to bear, let's do it. It's not hard to send an email. So, but I would ask people out there, don't just get upset, do something. You were all involved in this election. There were a lot of you I see out there who were involved. Again, it's November, what is it now? The 13th. Let's stay involved. We're a community. We got to work on this together. This is about all of us, and this is important. This is more critical than anything we've really seen in a long time. So I would ask that you all remain involved. Get your friends involved. If you're talking to somebody, don't assume they know what's going on. Tell them. Get in conversation. We have some we were talking about the WhatsApp chats. If you're on a WhatsApp chat, get it out there. Let people know. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it everywhere you can. Jeffrey Gonzalez, if you're still here, get it out. Get the information out. We need to be mobilized. This is the time for us to act together to get this going. Oh, there he is over there.
I think also important to expand that to be not just on the key.
Well, I agree.
And we really need to be
reach out to your friends across the bridge. Hi. State your name and address, please.
Chaim Badash, 177 Ocean Lane Drive.
Thank you.
I'd like to make 2 suggestions. One, when you stand in front of the commissioner or the mayor, in addition to presenting your opposition to the idea of having dual train on Virginia Key, you might want to consider to also offer them alternative locations with benefits. So you should prepare a list of alternative locations and why it will be in their benefit to consider those locations. Number one. Number two, I just talked to Jeffrey, and I think we should move into creating some kind of a situation room. Get a committee of volunteers that will be more engaged or more actively engaged with the residents of this island to get more names, more people, more active. I'm willing to establish this with Jeffrey. Starting tomorrow, we're going to stand up in Winn-Dixie, and we end up flyers for everybody who lives here to start making phone calls and getting involved. Now, I don't know how we can do it strategically, but we might need some funding, and we might need more of a established connection or some kind of a phone numbers of the council here so we can get information and get things more efficiently communicated with you guys, okay? So anyway, those are my 2 points. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Haim. Tracy, did you want to speak? I'm sorry, I saw your, raise your hand.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and congratulations to the new mayor and council members. My name is Tracy Ellis. My address is 646 Fernwood Road. I also work for an environmental organization at the north end of Key Biscayne, which is the caretaker for the Bear Cut Preserve, 165 acres of protected space and environmental study area directly across Bear Cut from Virginia Key. I love Key Biscayne, and I love the Nature Center, and I love Virginia Key, and I'd like to be as involved as possible. I'm connected to village communications by text and email, and my concern, and I've had conversation and teleconference with the public relations team, but I have nothing in my hands to share. I received constant contact, and this isn't about blame. I just want to say what I need and what I think other people need. I need something to share, to get out to people across the causeway, to the naturalists who work where I do, to Erasmus, to whomever. I received constant contact that told me about the bus availability and about this meeting. And for whatever reason, I haven't received anything else. Okay. I did not know about the website. I knew there was a website coming, but I didn't know it was up and going. So I would just say on behalf of the other residents and concerned citizens, people who work here as well, and who want to reach across the pond, that perhaps there's this email that goes out tomorrow morning don't forget, you want to take the bus, this is where you need to be. If you want to write a letter or contact the commissioner, this is what you do. If you want to post to Facebook, here, this is what you do. And we have wonderful people here who also manage a number of social media sites here and WhatsApp groups. I just want to see all that stuff come together so that we can all pick and share and move this out as much as possible.
Okay.
That's all.
That's great. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Mike, just one question. I'm sorry, just a question for the manager. Have we gotten any sort of feedback from the groups outside of Key Biscayne about Thursday?
We do have some feedback. Some folks are going to be coming and speaking. Some folks have sent emails directly.
Any of the HOAs or anybody gotten back to us?
Some of the HOAs have gotten back to us. A number of them, we've made contact. We're waiting for responses, and some folks have confirmed that they're going to be attending the meeting, and some folks are sending correspondence, but not everybody has responded.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Further.
Sorry, Loudy. Hang on 1 second. Luis, you want to say something, or do you want to wait for?
I'm sorry we started off with such a crisis on our hand, but I don't want to be too repetitive, but this is the time to just do it. I mean, just do it. Whatever it is within your reach, do it. We don't have time for perfect coordination, perfect distribution of emails, perfect behavior, perfect video. This hit us, all of us, just 3 or 4 days ago. It is about counting. It is about 5 people on the council of the city of Miami who will vote. If you know anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody who knows them, that's what you need to do. Then we can get the system better next time around. But if we start spending so much time in getting it perfect, as I said earlier, we're not going to get any action. And it's Thursday. which is less than what? I don't know how many hours.
It's about 38 hours.
And you just grab the names of those people, which you can also look up anywhere, the mayor and the city of Miami mayor, and just see who you can influence. That's right. Each one of them with the districts, each one of them with their background, and which one with their ethnic backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera. That's all we really need to stop it on Thursday. Kill it on Thursday, or at least wound it on Thursday. And so, because otherwise we're just going to disperse our energies all over the place.
No, you're right. Thursday is, let's focus on Thursday, but we'll do the best we can to get as much information out to you as we can, but go on what you have right now. If more can come out, great, we'll get it to you, but don't wait. I think that's what Councilmember Laredo is saying, is don't wait on a new email. Look for the information. We're telling you it's out there. We will do our best to get you additional information, but use what you have, and let's move forward.
Yes. Well,
Sorry,
I came to the
name and
last.
address.
Oh, sorry. Laude Ibarra and 482 Fernwood Road. I came to the last meeting, and I was very in agreement with Katie that brought a point of why don't we write a letter and we can have as many people as we can sign it. I'm sure a lot of parents would be really helpful into doing this. And I think that is a really powerful source, because there are many people who I cannot make it on Thursday because I have to work, and there are many people who have to work. So I think that if we have like a really well-prepared document, not only go online, no, this is a really, and there are people's signatures, I think that counts even more from my perspective. So if you need help on getting signatures, I can help and I can gather people, but just,
Okay.
okay?
I think that's,
Yeah, so at the website, noultra.com, there's a place where you can key in your information, so I would direct people to that site.
Okay. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if we can all do, I don't know. I feel that handwriting and us gathering and sending the document would be more valuable than just like, it's like an email. I'll just look at it and then or not look at it, because that happens many times. So to me, like, if we go and present the document and people, I mean, it shows that we're a village and we're working as a team.
Right.
And we're gathering. I know it's convenient online, but I think that we work better as a team, gathering signatures that way. I don't know, that's my perspective, and if you need help.
no, I think in that's to their point over there.
Can come and join us.
Oh, perfect, Jeff.
After the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Louis?
Is there anyone here from the Recreation Department tonight?
Todd was here.
He had to step up to the office to
Okay,
prepare
I'm
us for
Lois
tomorrow's
Greenberg,
meeting.
1121 Crandon Boulevard. The community center is the focal point of this community, from the kids to the seniors. Everybody's there in the gym. There's classes all day. Let's make announcements at every class tomorrow, because Wednesday is a big day, and the people are at the gym, and there's fitness trainers there, and there's bridge clubs, and there's
Volleyball
book
playoffs.
reviews. Sorry?
The volleyball playoffs are tomorrow
And
night.
and the volleyball playoffs. So there's a great source right there that if they could announce it, Todd could announce it, Roxy and Anna.
That's a
Because,
great idea.
yeah, I think we don't have any time, so it's tomorrow or never.
That's right. Okay. I saw somebody back there with their hand up. Did somebody have their hand up over here? No? Anybody else? Councilmember Sim Conroy?
Betty Sim Conroy, 785 Crandon. This is like going back in history. We've done so many of these. We've filled Dade County. We've had so many huge fights, and it's really tough. But I just want to say to you all, get your points. Try not when you all are our representatives. And if each one of you gets something you're really passionate about, rather than repeating, and you get together and have that organized. We did that when they wanted to do the overpass on Crandon, and that was the only time we won. So maybe it was effective, but you all individually be really strong and be really, emphatic in what you believe in, but don't repeat too much. And there's plenty of subjects.
Okay.
So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
All right. Okay, does anybody else? Come on.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Coslin, 255 Sunrise Drive, resident since '73. I am at Key Biscayne on Twitter and Instagram. And for the last 10 years, I've been doing it just as a public service, waiting for the village to be ready to be on social media in some capacity. And it looks like they are now. But again, I am at your service, and I've just tweeted all of this in a thread to the 106,000 followers on the Key Biscayne Twitter. Every local paper, every local talking head journalist on TV. Again, I'm another one of these people who doesn't like public speaking. And if there's anything that you'd like to go up on the Instagram, an image, just let me know.
Okay.
Because I'd gladly lay down on the causeway.
All right.
Who's coordinating this, all this wonderful suggestion, the manager?
The manager.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Yeah, get in touch. Thank you, Carolyn. All right. Is there anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming out. I hope to see some of you on, Luis, did you have something else?
Oh, no, you're going to adjourn or we have another?
We have one other item, but I just want to thank you on this discussion item. If that's a wrap, then we will move on. Okay?
Next item, Mayor.
One second.
Whoa, hi. We're still in the middle of a meeting, so if you'd like to stay. No, we're not done. We still have to select the vice mayor. So.
Next item, Mayor, is an election of vice mayor pursuant to Section 2.02B of the Village Charter.
Okay.
Move.
Second.
Okay. So I'm going to take the prerogative of, it, and I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I'm going to nominate Allison McCormick as my vice mayor. I've worked with Allison on a number of different committees. We work together very well. I mean, we're friends in outside life. I don't know how long that's going to last now that we're sitting next to each other on council.
No, the sunshine is cramping our style.
It is cramping our style, but I think I've seen her in action. I've worked with her on school projects where she has been the voice of reason when I was not necessarily that voice. So I'm going to nominate Allison McCormick.
Thank you.
I would like a second.
Second.
Okay.
Second it?
Brett Ignacio. Okay.
Who seconded it? I'm sorry, I was thinking.
Brett, no, seconded. Okay.
All those in, are there any other nominations? It was seconded, but are there any other nominations?
Good.
Well, I guess that the attorney told us that we cannot defer this because we all have so much stuff in our hand. I want to make sure that we continue the spirit of a team here. And sometimes to have on the first meeting a divided issue and then having to vote on someone, I don't know. I wish it wasn't this way.
And what is the reason for
By charter.
for the first meeting?
Is it that mandate?
Okay.
Although, of course, this is not a formal first meeting, you know.
I will say I was curious why that was on our agenda tonight also because I thought it was
I have to defer to the attorneys.
Right. So that was.
I read the charter. I don't know if this is a special meeting, is it not? I mean, I have no problem with all of you. I mean, I wish I could vote for all of you for vice mayor. I don't want to be vice mayor, just in case you're thinking of voting for me. But I just feel uncomfortable about all of a sudden.
And I understand that. I didn't, we actually had a conversation about it because I assumed it would be at the first regular meeting, but we were told that it was at the first meeting subsequent to the election.
It's
During
here
your absence,
attached to our agenda.
Well, I want to make a big deal of it. Everybody
And
else.
having said that, is it going to change?
Yeah, is it going to change your vote?
No, that's fine. As long as we're comfortable,
It
folks.
says at the first meeting, at the first council meeting after each regular village election or in any calendar year in which there is no the council shall elect one of its members as vice mayor. It's right here. At the first council meeting.
I want you to be the most successful mayor that we ever had.
I appreciate that.
We have 2 very tough years. and I think whoever you feel most comfortable with, but I will support you.
I'm comfortable with you all. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
no, I
just
know,
think
but I
that
want
this
to
is
make
something
sure,
I
because
wanted to-
all of the sitting councilmen
Yeah, this is no
are
slight
people who
against the
I
people
admired,
who
some of them I've helped in their
are here with
campaign,
us.
so I just feel we could do some other time, but if not, if everybody's okay, I'm okay.
Just to be clear, it does say the first council meeting after a regular election.
That's right.
This is whether
First
it's
council
by
meeting.
virtue of a special
Enough said.
council meeting.
Enough said.
All
Call
those
the
in,
question.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion adjourned. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Vice Mayor.